Okay. So we'll continue from where we stopped last week. And then once we're done, we'll move on to, we'll touch a little bit on user research before I give you the assignment or task that you would have. Okay. So was it Elizabeth, Samuel, how far was your progress like on the task for last class? Coming up with the input fields, nav menus, card and modal. How was your progress? How far have you gone? And how did you find it? Did you encounter any issues? I actually do not like the fact that the class is not interactive. So someone should just unmute and respond.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good
Can you
evening.
hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to unmute since, but I could not. I was having issues with my phone.
Oh,
So I've been listening. I've been listening. I have not, honestly, I've not gone through the last class, so I've not started on the task. But I stopped at the previous. Okay, was I stopped at where we did buttons and input field issues so far. But I've not gone to the video of the very last class yet. Or where I stopped, I've not had any
oh,
issues so far. I will make sure I complete on my and submit on my tasks
okay.
this weekend. So,
All right, please do that. Okay, so Elizabeth, are you with us?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Okay, okay, good evening. And I've
Yeah.
not been that because I just like this week I just did my review task. Like I'm just getting started this one and I've not watched that class. Out there, like I'm usually like after I do my task for following class Thursday after this class. So I've not started like the main work which is like 2 classes to go. So I was just getting started now. This was the three assignment.
So when do you think you'll be able to catch up?
I'll use this weekend to catch up with it.
Okay, you mean this week?
Yes, yes, this weekend till like Tuesday, Wednesday.
All right. All right. So Yetunde, I think you submitted last week's task. So how was it so far with this week's task, Yetunde?
Good evening. Uh, I'm still on like listening to the recordings. Like I've not actually started the task yet. Like so, I'll know how to like complete it in a better way. It's but before the end of tomorrow, I'll be done with it already. And I wanted to ask that, um, am I to send the assignment the same way like I sent Victoria on Figma?
No, just submit the link to the file. You
Okay,
don't need to add me to it. Just submit the link here.
okay, okay. I'll submit it.
All right. Okay, so let's continue. Mm, so last week we did, oh sorry, in the last class we did nav menus. I think we still touched on, we did a sort of revision, and then we did nav menus, cards, and modals. So now we're going to look at progress indicators. I'm sure we all know what progress indicators. So wait, before we move on, let me point out something. Looking at this card, I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes,
Oh,
ma.
Samuel is on. Okay. So looking at this card, you realize that this card doesn't have a CA button. Probably a button that says buy or shop now or add to cart or something else. It's just like this. So even though we were making this, just for practice, I just wanted to point it out that when you're creating a card for, especially for if it were for anything else, yeah, it's not necessary you have a CTA button, because the whole card should be clickable. That is, if you click on any part of the card, it should direct you somewhere. But when you're doing something for e-commerce, let's say the card is for e-commerce, you have to make sure that it has a call to action. So this so we're going to add button. This is We're going to add button here to the list. So what makes up the card? Image, title, description, price, tag, the tag, which is this, and then button. So let's add our button. I'm going to expand this a little. First, I'll check the constraints of this. They're
Sorry,
all
ma. Sorry, ma, to
can
interrupt. I can't see your screen.
you can't see my screen.
Yeah.
Is it only
Um,
Elizabeth that is?
your screen is visible, so I think it could be a network.
Oh, so Elizabeth is your network. You can try leaving and joining it. Or no, just hold on. I think it will get better. Maybe move to a different location. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at the constraints. You can see from here that it's constrained to the right and to the bottom. So we want to change that. Um okay. So we want to change that, and we want to make sure that the constraint is constrained to the top, and then we don't really care about whether it's constrained to the left and right, because we just want to make it longer. Elizabeth, can you see my screen now?
No, I can't see it. It's blank from here. Can't see anything.
Oh, try moving to a different location. Try moving to a different location. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just pull this down to increase the length of this card so that there will be space for the button. So I don't need to create a button. I will just go pick one, just like we did for the modal, right? In fact, let me pick from the modal. So I'll pick this one from the modal, copy it, and then come and paste it into this place. So I will drag it down. So it is 8 away from here. So because of alignment, right, we can't just leave the button like this. If we're going to leave the button like this, we'll just either move it to the right, and then maybe there'll probably be some other an icon here, maybe add to favorite or something. But we're not going to add any icon. So we want to make sure that it is we want to make sure that it is in the center, and it is the length of every other thing here. This length. So it's there's more balance, or else if it's like this, it would look imbalanced. what we're going to do first is we're going to look at the constraints inside the button, of the content inside the button. And we want to change it all to center, left and right, from left to center, so that when you pull this button, what is inside remains at the center, so that I will not have to be pulling and adjusting and shifting. So just pull and everything remains at the center. So let's also check our margin. The margin we were using, we used 8 pixel margin. So we still means we still need to increase our card by 2, right? Why? Because the margin to this button is 6. So it's not equal. So let's increase it by 2. We'll add 2 to the height plus 2. Yes, so let's check now 8. And if we check everything inside and check the margin, we'll see that it's 8 by 8 margin. So yeah, this card is complete. Yeah, it's complete. It's good. So let's just change the text. Let this become add to cart. Add to cart. We don't need this arrow, so I would hide it. Because I explained that icon, or clicking on this eye icon, or just pressing Control H to hide. Shift Control H, that would hide it, or Control Shift H, Shift Control H, whichever. So we have our add to cart button. Let's see if it's centered. No, it's not. So let's center it. Yeah, now it's in the middle. So this button is okay. It's yeah, it's perfect. The button and the card. So let's move on to progress indicators. So progress indicators are used for like to show the user, to give the user an idea of where they are on a site. If you remember the first usability heuristic that I mentioned, who can remind me of the first usability heuristic? Who can remind me? Try and remember. The first usability heuristic has something to do with status.
Visibility of system status.
Good, very good. Thank you for that. So progress indicators are used to keep the user like informed of where they are during the like in the product. So that obeys that usability heuristic, usability of system status. Yeah. So let's do that. There are important parts of the UI UX of a product. Although they are quite easy to create, but they are very, very important. So let's change the field to white. Okay, so we're going to create two types of, I think someone, okay. So we'll just create a progress indicator. We'll create two types. There are two types of it. So the first one would create, let me copy it so that and so progress indicator one. Okay. So the first type would make It's very simple. This one is mostly used for mobile devices. It's just you'd see a series of rectangles, right? A series of rectangles as you move from one stage to another. The rectangles get filled to show you where you are. Then we have the other one that is a mixture of circles and lines. These ones are used mostly um, in web applications. Yeah, it's used mostly in web applications. So let's start. So first, I like to work with frames. I don't like to work with rectangles. So I'm going to just press F and then okay. So let me give it a feel of 4, 4, 4, 4. I'll make it dark. Now decrease the. I actually didn't have to do this. I could have just drawn freehand, but it's all right. So we have this. So it's too big. The height is too big. Let's make it 4. The width, let's make it 36. Yeah, I wrote that I typed 38, so 36. Yeah. So this is one. Then for progress indicators, you'd always make sure that the corner radius is fully curved. So give it 100 so that it should look like this. So we have one. We'll just have to duplicate this. Let's make it 4 and duplicate this. And then duplicate this. Yeah, so we have this. So to rename the shortcut to rename is Control R, and you get this. So even if you select 20 things and you want to rename them because they are similar and give them the same name, you just have to type Control R and then you'll be able to give it one name. So let's name this stage. Let's name this stage and then let's rename. So everything changes to stage. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to group all these or turn them into a frame. How do you do that? Control Alt G. So we've turned that into a frame by pressing Control Alt G. I hope we're taking note of these shortcuts. They would really, really help you. So Control Alt G to convert a group of objects into a frame. Then let okay, I think you guys didn't hear me for some time due to my network. So I stopped. So let's continue. All right, sorry about that was my so let's I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Can everyone
Yes, we can hear you.
okay, thank you. So if the user is in the onboarding process whereby they have to fill in their name, their details, add an image, select what their profession is, those kind of things. Those take time. And then progress bars are that progress bar that they use is quite similar All right, please can everyone see my screen? I'm really sorry about this. I don't know why my network is this bad. This it's been okay for some time now. So can everyone still see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So let me take this back. So I created another progress bar. Now I'm going to duplicate this. So like you see why. So I'm duplicating it by pressing Ctrl D. So you see we now have two stages within the progress bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stage and put it inside this stage so you can see. Then I will change the color of this. I will change it to something light. Yeah, then we have that. Then I would also reduce the size of this. So this is also a progress bar. Hope you can all see it. This is also a progress bar. It's just one progress bar that where you can see the so this is used in forms and then this is used in dashboards too. So you see them in dashboards to show maybe percentage. So say this would be like 60% or if to here 70% and so on. But this is the one mostly used during onboarding. So this so to show the progress where the user hasn't yet got will be will be a lighter color. Yeah. So if like something so it would look like this. So this is the first progress indicator. I don't know if anyone has any questions regarding how I created this. So now I want to create the second one. So as I mentioned, it's a combination of lines and circles. Lines, circles, and actually text numbers. So we don't need any of this. So I'll come here. I'll create a circle, or rather, I'll create a frame. As I mentioned, I don't like working with shapes because when you work with shapes, you can't put elements within it. You can't put elements inside it. You'd have to start grouping. But if you're working with frames, anything that is inside the frame, let's take this for instance. See this? If I put anything within this frame, it stays inside. Look at these are frame, this progress bar, whatever is inside acts like a child. I don't have to group them. So I'm going to give this a stroke and then make the corner radius 100 so that it turns into a circle. See, so it's not well aligned. Let me make this not, sorry, not equal. The sides aren't equal. So now it looks like a circle. So I don't like this color, so I'm going to change it to one of the colors that we've been using before. Let's say this color. Yeah, this color is okay. Then now we want to put text into it. So I'll type T. Then I'll type 1. So let's reduce the size. They usually have tiny text. Let's make one 8 pixels. So we'll put this 8 pixels, see if it can fit. I think it's too big. Let's make it 6. Yeah, so you can see that that your one is within the frame. That's why frames are so good, one of the reasons. Yeah. So if you look at this, you'd see that your text is actually not in the middle. That is because of the spacing. So it's actually in the middle, but it's not equally in the middle. So what we're going to do is there's something called I think you can access it from here. Okay, there's something called flattening. Then you right click, you see it here, flatten or outline stroke. You can do any of these to turn your text into a vector. So once I click on flatten, it would remove it would no longer be a text. You see that it's no longer a font. There's no font. It has become a shape. And that's what happens. So now you can actually align it to the center and it is properly aligned. See. So we want to duplicate this. This is, let's name this stage. My caps are not okay. Stage. Okay. So we want to duplicate this. Duplicate it again. Then duplicate it again. Say we have 4 stages. Then let's align the spacing. Remember what I showed you using this. You can make sure that the spacing is equal. So let's make it 24. Yeah, we have 24 here. So we have our circle. So what the next thing we need to do is, because this is a vector, it can't be edited. So we need to delete them. They are just shapes. They are shapes in the form of number 1. So we need to delete them. Then I'm going to bring my text again, see. Then I'll type 2 Control D, that is to copy, or rather to duplicate, sorry. type 3, then Control D again, and type 4. So next I'm going to flatten all these texts to turn them into shapes so that they won't have spaces around them. Like look at the space here, space here, and that would affect them and not make them aligned. So Control E, or you right click and you press flatten. So see, they become shapes. So I click on two. Oh, I flatten the whole thing. So let me go undo. Once you select